Am I live? Am I live? Am I live? Freaking, you never know what these things if we're live or not. I'm not sure yet if we're live. We had a little bit of delay today, and I'm hoping that it didn't discomfort everybody. This is what happens when we go live.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. And thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
Yes, things suck when you go live. Things suck when you go live. But hey, that's what we do. We basically roll with the punches. Roll with the punches, and we just muscle through. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. I like to babble on about my own problems. I had a delay today. We had a delay. Okay. All right. That being said, we got a great interview. We got another great interview today, and not only do we have the Kool-Aid Man, oh yeah. Not only do we have the Kool-Aid Man joining us, we got Punchy, a Hawaiian Punch. Yeah. Okay, so we got Punchy, and we got the Kool-Aid Man, and yeah. That's how we're gonna do it. That's how we're rolling. Today. But before we start the show, I have to play the most annoyingly long intro ever. And I promise you, boys and girls, if this is not long enough for you, I will make sure to make it even longer. Okay. All right. Intro. All right. There you go. You got that was your intro. That was the intro, boys and girls. That was the intro. I might have short. I don't know. Anyway, that was the intro. I promise you, I'm going to be adding about 3 minutes onto it, and you'll be able to enjoy it. And as our friend Biggie says, basking in the immortality of it. Okay. All right. Before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out. I want to give a quick shout out to the fabulous audience that's a brewing right now that's starting to build up. And we're starting with comics. By the way, it's not my birthday. Damn it, it's not my birthday. It was in February. We're done with that. No more birthday talk. Okay, no more birthday talk. Okay, all right. And then we got S482 came here for the support of your homie Brian. Good for you. You support your buddy Brian. That's great. That you're here for a reason. And then you got Papa Wheelie. I'm not a nerd, damn it. I'm not a nerd. Well, maybe I am. I'm not. Damn you, Papa. You damn savage. I call it. Then we got Evils. Hey. No, we don't do picnic shirts, okay? We don't do picnic shirts, and we don't do Kool-Aid because I'm sanitary, okay? All right, we got that. We got K-pop. Hey, my mod extraordinaire. Thank you for joining us. Hey, thank you. And then we got we got Jerry. Jerry, how are you doing, Jerry? Thank you for joining us. And who else do we got here? We got the beefaroni, the beefy man extraordinaire. We got him. We got who else do we have? Who else do we have in here? We got a lot of people. We got some lurkers in here. We got Dr. Von Hooch from the Spiral Dimension. Is there any Kool-Aid in the Spiral Dimension? I don't know, but if there is, better drink it. All right. And a crossover show. Okay. Crossover show basically means you're a comic show that crosses over onto other things. Okay. So for everybody that doesn't know, there's a poll up. I put a couple suggestions for fabulous new possible categories in the CBC Awards, and maybe we could rope Brian into adding one of them. Okay. All right. Let's see what happens by the end of that end of the show for that poll. Okay. Then we got damn me with the shirts. Yeah, no more shirt talk. Not a picnic shirt. No, none of that stuff. Okay. All right. Who else do we have? I don't know if I'm missing anybody. If I do, John Stout. Hello, how are you, John Stout? Okay, then we got Miss So. Hello, Miss So. And then we got Cup of Comics, another fraud. This guy tells us everybody that you could put freaking comics in a cup. You can't do that. It's impossible. But anyway, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And then who else do we have? Who else do we have in here? We got Glenn, the fart man. All right, Glenn, thank you for joining us. Oh, and we have the actual Van Helsing. He's probably chasing down the actual Dracula. It's the actual Van Helsing chasing down the actual Dracula. Okay, all right. Who else do we have in here? Who else do we have? I want to get everybody. I don't want to miss anybody, and everybody to be butthurt that I missed you. Okay, all right. No more. No, I don't want to miss anybody. Okay. I think I got you all. If I didn't get you all, then we got Bleecker Street. How are you, Bleecker? The Bleecker. And then we got my man, Brooklyn Born, my companion, the New York man. We got Brooklyn Born. And we got TM. We got TM Nerdy. From the deepest, darkest forest of Canada. Okay? We got Tricky Trapster. Artist extraordinaire. I saw something with Ozzy. There he goes. There's Ozzy, Comic Ozzy, another Canadian. Okay, we got a lot of. We got Canada is well represented in here. Okay, all right. That's it. Now, listen. I babble enough. I said hello to everybody, so everybody knows how these interviews go. I'm going to be talking to our guest. And what's going to happen? I'm going to ask him stuff. He's going to talk. I'm going to ask him stuff. He's going to talk, and you guys could mingle amongst yourselves. But I'm not really going to answer questions throughout the interview up until the end when we have the Q&A. We got the Q&A. We got the Q&A part, and then we got Manny, the Hobgoblin Collector. Hello, Manny. How are you? Okay. All right. Enough hellos. Okay. Hello, everybody. Okay. All right. Without further ado, we got our guest tonight. Our guest who's been very controversial of late. He's been hurting butts and taking names all over the place. All right. So let's put him on tonight. We got our man Brian LCS. Good evening, Brian.
Who me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, me. Oh, yeah. Hi. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
The spotlight's on you tonight.
I like it. I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
You sure you're ready?
I'm ready. But I have a couple things before we get started. I want to thank you and thank the chat for being here tonight. And I brought some gifts. So I know there was some issues with some bags this weekend. So I brought some poop bags. I got those. I got a Ziploc bag. I brought a regular garbage bag, and I've got a brown paper bag. So I think we've got our bags covered.
Crumble that up a little bit more for all the ASMAR. There you go. Everybody could get off on that.
So just in case if anybody needs a bag, we've got bags.
You're trolling me now? Is that what you're doing?
I wanted to become prepared.
Yeah. You heard my little gripe about the bags?
Yeah, I heard. I mean, I think everybody heard.
Where do you weigh on that? Where do you weigh on that?
I agree with you. I think there should be bags. If you're selling me something, you should have something for me to put it in.
Offer me a goddamn bag. If you got to charge me for it, go ahead, charge me for it. But give me a damn bag. I want to carry the crap out of it. Thank you. I've been getting attacked for the past few days for being the voice of reason for all the community. You're making it really hard for me to be tough on you tonight. You know that you came here with compliments. Okay, all right.
Well, I have one other thing to mention. In the pre-interview with Kool-Aid Man and Hawaii 5-0 there, they did tell me that I
Punchy.
was going to be paid my appearance fee.
This is
And
punchy.
and I just checked my Zelle and my PayPal and my Cash App and my Venmo, and I don't have my $2 yet. So
Listen, Mr. Brian LCS. Listen to me. Everybody knows you paid me to come onto my show in order to sponsor your CBC Awards. Everybody knows that. So stop flipping out on me. I'm looking at my Venmo, and there's nothing in there. Nothing. Not even a dollar.
I'm
All
watching
right.
Kool-Aid Man because we spoke, and he said there was going to be payment.
Kool-Aid Man has no clout around here. He got punchy. You show Kool-Aid Man what's going on. Kill out of here. Right? All right. Kool-Aid Man gone for the rest of the interview. He's done.
Wow.
No more Kool-Aid Man today. All right. We're not doing that anymore. Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. So before we get started, I should need to be very transparent and very clear with the audience. Okay. Because they deserve this. They deserve transparency and clarity. Okay. I do know Brian somewhat. Okay.
Yes.
You know, we've had a meal together. We've met in person. We've had conversations. We've had a relationship through the internet.
Okay.
We had interactions throughout the years. We started around the same time, actually making content. So we grew together. You know, not grow. Yeah, man. Hashtag grow together. We grew together somehow, in different ways. So, you know, he grew a little differently. I grew a little differently. You know how it goes. Anyway, so I know him. Okay, so it's not like I'm bringing in somebody I don't know. Where, you know, some of the guests that we brought in the past, I didn't really know. So anybody that says I'm going to be a softie on him or anything like that, your chance to call me out on it will be at the end of the show, not before that. At the end of the show. Okay, all right. Just making that clear. Okay. That being said, I think everybody knows you for the most part, but we're going to give him a little bit of summary, a little bit of origin, a little bit of where did this Brian come from. First of all, I called out a couple of comics on his fraudulent cup comic and cup. You know, the thing with the putting comics inside a cup. I called him out on that.
Yeah. They didn't fit.
Yeah, we called him out on that. I'm calling you out a little bit on your LCS thing. You know, we've had our little you know, things about that. You don't have a LCS, okay?
I do not.
You know, they're growing together. You do not have LCS. You want to tell everybody for the definitive and last time, but why you're called LCS? Because I'm sure people have heard of it, but there might be somebody new that came into this channel that wants to know.
Well, yeah.
Why the hell are you Brian LCS? You're not Linguini and Clam Sauce.
When I originally started, it was just my name was just LCS. There was no Brian, and the only reason why I decided on that name was because when I got back into collecting, I heard people using the acronym LCS all the time, and initially I had no idea what it meant, and then very quickly I figured out it was local comic shop, and so I knew it was a term that was used in the community a lot, and so I figured, well, why don't I call myself LCS, and that way people will find my channel because they're talking about it, searching it, and that was really the only reason. And then, you know, people started thinking that I had an LCS, that I owned an LCS or worked at an LCS, and so I eventually, and I think it was actually Legion of Comics who suggested, well, just change your name, keep the LCS, but add the Brian, and that's what I did. And so I do not own a comic shop. I go to a comic shop and buy books, but I don't own a shop.
Okay, so you get that, people. He came up with the name because he thought he would have been, you know, tickling the algorithm a little bit by getting himself out there. Did it work? Did you tickle the algorithm?
No.
You know? Did you get a kick in the nuts by the algorithm because of it?
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, pretty much. You know, but that's it. Now you people know. Out of the way. So tell me, Brian. Yeah, I know your story, but a lot of people don't know your story. why the hell did you start making content? Why did you start doing this YouTube stuff? Did you want to become YouTube famous? Did you want to be the next TikTok model? What did you want to be?
Well, I did that for a while. I danced on TikTok, but it didn't really take off, and so I decided to try my hand at comic books here on YouTube. Um, but no, I got back in. I got back into collecting. Right around the pandemic, home working from home, some free time. I had I had 3 long boxes and a short box of books that I've had since the '80s, and so I've been moving them around from any time I moved, and I actually sold them to a friend for a little while in college, and then I bought them back from him. He did nothing with them, and then I bought them back from him. And so, with all this free time, I decided to start to go through them and see what I had. And I had a bunch of pricey books. I had an Amazing Spider-Man run, 252, 238, 252. From like 230 to like almost 400. So I had a big chunk of Spider-Man books that were worth some pretty good, some pretty good money. They were all raw books. And I started selling them actually on eBay. I started listing and selling books on eBay. That's how I kind of got back into looking at comic books but it was just really to sell and get rid of this collection that I had been carrying around for 35 years. But then, I had to go to the local comic shop to buy bags and boards. And I started looking at some of the new books. And then next thing you know, I had a pull list set up. And then I was back into collecting. And I really stopped selling. But when I started selling, I said, well, I started watching YouTube and got into the community, started watching community members. And I figured I could do at least a weekly video of whatever books I was selling on eBay. And then it turned into, I stopped selling and then I was collecting. And so then I started doing the comic book hauls and books that I was buying and collecting and things like that. So it kind of morphed into, something different. And then a couple months in, I had the idea for the Comic Book Community Awards. And then things went crazy.
Well, they definitely did. I'm going to pause for 1 second. I'm just going to address the crowd because they've been throwing around this term about real community, real comic book community. About that, a lot of chitter chatter is going on. I promise you guys, we will get into that. I will make sure that we talk about who the real community is and who the fake community is, who the phonies are, and who the right people are. I promise you, we'll make sure that we get to that point. I want to make sure that everybody didn't think I was completely ignoring them. I only partially ignore you guys. So that being said, you get into this YouTube thing. You come up with an idea. You want to make CBC Awards. Took a lot of freaking balls on your part to turn around and say, I'm gonna make awards. Who the fuck are you? I'm Brian LCS. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna share my love with the community. Took a lot of balls. I'll tell you that. I told you that when you first started that.
Yeah.
You that's an instant heat magnet. Do you look back at that time when you first started it and regret how you started off, or do you feel that if you had to do it all over again, you would have done it the same way?
No, I probably would have done it a little bit different. I didn't anticipate the negative reaction, and that was probably just being naive on my part. I really didn't think people would have a negative reaction to it because in my mind, it was a good thing. It was the way to celebrate the things that were happening in the community on YouTube. I started watching and I found Reggie Collect was probably one of the first channels I found, but I was like, who is this guy? He's sitting in a room full of comics and stuff. And he's talking about books. And then, I found Comic Tom, I found Gem Mint, but then I started discovering some of the smaller channels. I think Freaky Louie was one of the first channels. And I was like, this guy's building sets and wearing wigs and costumes to make a video. I was like, what is going on? And then, DJ Links with his editing. And I just stumbled onto a bunch of channels, and I was amazed at the amount of work that was being put into, production and videos. And um, I started to ask around if anybody was recognizing the work that was being put in. If anybody was doing any type of awards. And I did hear, I think after the fact that, well, basically the answer was no, that there weren't any awards. But then I did hear a little bit that there was some awards at one point, or there were some ideas about starting the awards, but nobody ever really did it. And so I said, well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to start it and see what happens.
What made you think you were the guy to do it?
The real reason I thought I could pull it off is because I've said this before. But prior to coming into back into collecting and getting on YouTube, I was involved. I ran a personal finance blog for like 7 years. Just initially, it was about how my family and I got our money together. We got out of debt. We had credit card debt, and we weren't managing our money well. And so I dove deep into learning about how to manage money on a personal level. And I started a blog to basically, document our journey out of debt. And I ran that blog for about 7 years. And it's a very similar community. There's a big niche community in the personal finance space. A lot of bloggers, a lot of TikTokers, a lot of Instagrammers, a lot of YouTubers. And there was an award show in that community that my blog actually got nominated for at one point. And so I basically took that idea from that community and ported it over to the comic book community and started the awards. But I was aware of the nuts and bolts of how that awards worked. And so, like I said, I really thought I could just take the subject matter and change it to comic books and pull it off.
Well, again, big balls. I'm going to say that. It takes big balls, and at the same time, patience and time you got to put into this. There's a lot of work involved. And by the way, for people that don't know, because Evil Mike likes to point things out, I have said this numerous times. I was one of the judges on that first year's panel.
Yes, you were. We had a 4-person committee.
I got kicked off. I don't know why. We're not going to dig into that right now. But yes, I was on there, so I do understand a little bit more than your average person as far as the inner workings, how the origins came in place. So maybe that's why I'm a good person to ask questions on this. You see, no secrets here. And as far as people giving him a hard time with Brian, listen, right from the get-go, he got a lot of freaking hate, a lot of heat. He got that like nuclear heat coming at him. It wasn't all kumbaya. And I will say something. There's people that are in this fucking chat right now. There is people in this chat that gave him heat on it as well, and didn't really talk positively about it. I'm not going to call names, but I'm just going to say that people come around. People like things. People don't like this. Everybody knows that for me personally, I got my mixed emotions about the awards. I had arguments with Brian right from the get-go when I was in that first judge panel. For example, one of my biggest arguments is, how the hell is it that nobody's voting for the top videos out there?
That's true.
The top channels. Remember, I was like,
I think Comics Explained, right? I think that was one of the ones. There was a few channels that you mentioned.
Well, nobody vote for Comics Explained. How the hell does nobody vote for a Comic Historian, Comic Tropes? You go down the line. There's a lot of great channels, like big boy channels, not like also like, ooh, look, I'm 500, I'm 1,000. Oh, look at me. No, not. We're talking about real look at me channels, like serious. We're talking about serious look at me channels, and they weren't getting voted on, and I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand what the hell is going on. Apparently, they have to know about it to vote about it. That's kind of how it works. Are you trying to aggravate me right now by showing?
No. There was a cowboy comment in the chat, so I just wanted to show the NY.
Cowboys suck. All right.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, they suck. You know, Bills Nation all the way. All right. All right. All right. We're not going to get into a heated argument about football. All right. So, excuse me. I had a frog in my throat. Not like your frog. I had a different frog. All right. So we went back and forth on that a lot of times. And the thing is, you can't control what people are going to actually vote for because this is not the Academy Awards. It's not the Grammys. It's not a panel. It's not a group of individuals that know what they're talking about that are saying, we think they should be nominated for this reason, this reason, this reason. It's a popularity contest. It's the People Choice Awards. So basically, if you got a lot of friends out there, and you have a lot of people that like you, or you pay a lot of people to vote for you because you want to get the CBC Award cachet, then you'll get voted for. If you don't have it, guys like Rob from Comic Explain or Chris from Comic Trope, they don't know about this stuff.
Right.
They don't know about this stuff, so they don't forget about it. They might even not mention it because this is kind of like in a different realm than where they are. But if their audience knew about it, they probably would vote for it. And the whole point is to actually grow one year to the other to get more people involved and voting. The first year, the first real zinger hit that you got was from Pressable Defects from the Butch.
Oh yeah. They were very, very, critical, and I think just questioning the, what the awards were and how they were going to be run. And the Butcher and I kind of went back and forth at each other a little bit on Instagram, and I kind of, that really upset me when they kind of called things out. But we squashed things. We had conversations. I've met the Butcher at Terrificon last summer, and so we squashed everything. We shook hands. And we understood where one another was coming from, and so the defects, we're good, we're cool with the defects now.
I'm just saying that was the first.
Oh yeah, that was the big
channel that got you. I had it with a little bit with the Butcher on the chats as well. They're good guys. They just didn't understand what was happening, and that's why they couldn't get behind it. And they don't have to get behind it. That's the other thing.
Right. And that's my, the awards may not be for everybody. I've reached out to people in the community and asked them, could they help promote it? And I've gotten answers like, no, I don't, the awards aren't for me. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I can respect that. Not everybody is in.
Hey, what happened? What happened? Hey, somebody canceled you.
Where'd I go?
I don't know. I think somebody canceled you.
Where's Kool-Aid Man?
I don't know what happened. I think it's because I got rid of him. I apologize. Technical difficulties, people. You were saying, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just with the defects. Like I said, we squashed everything, and then I understand that the awards may not be for everybody. I've reached out to people and asked them, could they help spread the word, and they were like, no. And I said, okay, that's fine. They were like, the awards aren't for me. I'm not, they're not my thing, and I can respect that. That's fine.
You hear it, people? They don't have to be your thing. And that brings all these arguments of the real community and the real comic book, the groups. And we're going to get into this. And I've broken it down multiple times. I don't want to hear your impression of it as well. But there have been certain people, just like the first year that you had. Last year was kind of like a neutral year. You didn't have that much heat hit you. And then all of a sudden.
No, yeah, it was kind of quiet last year. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden this year you got Decor. He's like,
yeah.
Screw this guy, Brian. Screw this guy, Brian, and his Illuminati. We're gonna get you. And then you got this other guy, Dicky Goose or Goose Dicky or whatever he's called. Then he makes another video and he's into it, and he's like, it's a good old boys club kind of a thing,
Right.
And I did actually tag both of them onto the Instagrams that I sent out, hoping, and I've actually did engage with the Decor, but he has not responded to me. I guess he likes to only fight with Marcus, not me. But to actually give his 2 cents, because I actually would have loved to hear a true perspective instead of just like some like ominous type of comments and then disappearing. I would have liked to have a little bit of dialogue, but it didn't work out. Hopefully they do show up in the chat and they could throw their 2 cents in there. That would be great.
Yeah, I reached out to Decord too. I reached out to him.
I swear, I swear. What did I call him? Did I call him Dicky Goose?
It's Sticky Goose. Yes, I think you called him something else.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm so, it was a slip up. I didn't mean to call you a Dicky Goose. You're a Sticky Goose. I'm sorry about that. You know? But I've seen his stuff. He's very critical about a lot of stuff. Actually, I'm glad that he actually came in here. So that's actually perfect. You know, he actually could throw his 2 cents in the Q&A and that kind of thing, and kind of like break up everything. But the thing that I wanted to make clear with this whole inclusive stuff and this whole group thing, guess what, people? This whole community, yes, we have a huge community, and do you agree with me? They're all real comic book community in their own different way.
Oh yeah, that's what
That weird collector that's a shut-in that just shows one book at a time and doesn't say a word. That's a part of the community, right? The other guy that's flamboyant and just flails his arms around and says, "I love comic books." That guy's part of the community too. The other guy that goes and starts screaming at everybody how big morons they are for buying variants. That's part of the community too, right? Oh, yeah. I'm serious. The one guy that's a Spider-Man freak that has a Spider-Man pillow in the back of his picture. That guy's part of the community too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, everybody's part of the community in their own different way. The difference is there's a bunch of like little groups. They're all a bunch of little groups. Why? Because they gravitate to each other. They all gravitate to each other. Oh, we're buddies. We're friends. We're with this. We're hanging out with each other. We're gonna hang out with each other on and off the well, damn it, my phone. Who's calling me at this time? They know I'm freaking on an interview. Anyway, they all have their own ways to go about it. And guess what? Every group is going to promote and they're going to push themselves. The whole point of these awards is to actually get multiple groups involved and have battles of groups and whose group is going to be the most popular group. And that's the kind of thing, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. There's a lot of little circles on YouTube. Different kind of groups that are follow each other, and so the goal is really just to keep spreading the word so we can get them out to all the little corners of the community.
Well, that's great. You know what, Durs? I will say this much. He does seem logical. Sometimes I don't agree with shit he says. I've actually watched his channel. I followed it for a while, so. I'd love to actually talk to him at one point down the line, but he's got a different. All right. I called him Dicky Goose by accident. I apologize. All right. It was a slip of the tongue. It was a slip of the tongue. I don't mean to do that, But
check back after midnight to deep dive on Dicky Goose.
All right, now we're gonna get into it. But anyway, listen. You want to get as many groups involved as possible. What are you doing to actually educate people, to actually get more people involved in this thing, to get people to know about those awards?
I think that's one of the things that why we're having so much discussion so early on, because nominations don't open until May. May 13th is when this year's nominations open. But one of my goals this year was to try to spread the word before the nominations open, because I think there are some channels that feel if they're nominated, they don't want to seem like they're campaigning for nominations or votes. And so once the nomination period opens, people might not want to talk about it because.
Hey, what the hell happened again?
I don't know. I think the Kool-Aid Man's screwing with you.
What is happening? They keep trying to shut you up. All right, I'm sorry. Keep going. Sorry about that.
We're just. I'm trying to spread the word before we get into the nominations and voting, so that we can, if there are big channels or just any channel, that they can help spread the word. And so I started reaching out in January. I started reaching out to past nominated channels, past winners, and letting them know, here's the schedule. Could you start talking about it ahead of the nominations so that there's no conflict of interest, that you don't feel like you're campaigning to be, voted. And so you can do it ahead of that and help spread the word, because like I said, I want to reach as many corners of the community as we can. So, and so I started reaching out. I started posting more on Instagram, and with the hopes of spreading the word. And there were a couple people, Decor picked it up and started, kind of poking at it. And then some others started picking up and talking about it. And so it's definitely having the effect. We're, like I said, we're a month away or so, 6 weeks away from the nominations open. And there's a lot of talk about it, which is good, because now maybe we'll have some more eyeballs on it, this year.
Controversy equals cash. That's what I used to always say all the time.
Yeah.
Now,
there's no such thing as bad press.
Now, based on that, did you ever have aspirations, or do you ever have aspirations of making this into like a real, like legitimate thing that actually is profitable, and you could actually, have it as a yearly thing that like YouTube will back up, or Google will back up, or it'll be like officially, looked into?
No, I've never really, I haven't thought about it. I'm usually just thinking year to year. Like, I just want to grow it. This is year 3. I want to make year 3 bigger than year 2. I have done some outreach to comic book companies, some of these exclusive unknown comics and some of these others, to see if they would sponsor it, or provide some comic books for the winners or things like that. So I am trying to grow it in that aspect. So, because year 1, basically, I took all the money out of my pocket to fund the awards, and the trophies. I did get a few donations. My comic shop did a donation. They did $100 gift card for every winner in year 1. So we had some donations from the community. Year 2, we had a number of sponsors from the community that helped bring some money in to be able to pay for the trophies and shipping and all of that stuff that goes with the awards. So year 3, we want to make it bigger. I already have I've had a number of people already reach out to me and commit to sponsoring an award category, so that they'll give me $25 to put their name as the sponsor of the award category, and that money just goes back into buy trophies and pay for the the winners, all of the stuff around the winners, the trophies, shipping, and that kind of stuff. So,
oh, you definitely got fancy last year with those trophies. I'll say that much. And by the way, for everybody that has any thoughts of me being somehow infected or influenced by this whole experience, or by Brian and knowing him and stuff like that, I'm going to say this. I think everybody in the chat and everybody that's going to watch in the replay, and you too, Brian, will say there's no bigger channel than mine. And the fact that I've never been nominated for anything is a testament that it's not rigged. Otherwise, or maybe it is rigged against me. I don't know. Maybe you think maybe it is against. I don't know. That being said, I did put a few special categories that maybe you should think about including this year in there. I did put a couple in there.
I saw, yeah,
in the poll, and maybe we could twist your arm a little bit to include them. I don't know. Maybe we could do that.
It's interesting because somebody recently reached out in the community to about Best Hangout. So somebody sent me a message and gave me that feedback about maybe an award for Best Hangout, or because there are a lot of live streams that have become just that, the big community hangout where the chat is just going nuts and having a good time. And there's been some, you've been a part of some marathon streams. I know there's a number of channels, that do 2, 3, 4, 5 hour streams. So that I do like that idea of the best kind of hangout stream or show. I do like that idea.
Well, in case people don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to share the screen really quickly with everybody so you can just see what I'm talking about and you can understand. what it is that we're doing this poll. Okay, I don't know if people could see it. All right, no, now you can't see it. Maybe you can see it, or maybe technical technical difficulties. People, you got to bear with me. I'm not technologically advanced like Brian over here. All right, so now
Oh,
I'm
there
gonna
it is. All right.
let me get to
Click on
that.
the three little. There you go.
There we go. Now we're gonna make this big. Now you can see. Yeah, you can see that. Now,
Yeah, very nice.
okay, so what we're doing here is what CBC award would you like to see added? Best live stream content. I think that's a very good category. Best late night show. I think that's an awesome. Look at that, 44% late night show. I wonder who would possibly get nominated for that one. Uh, Best crossover channel, which kind of goes in from comics into other things as well. I think is a great category as well. And best hangout channel. All of them, by the way, I think Journey would be a very good candidate for, but we're not going to influence anybody with that. We're not going to.
Yeah, I noticed that how all of those categories could fit your channel. That's interesting.
I wonder how that plays out. I don't know. It'd be funny if I don't get nominated for any of those. If you actually implement them, I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Well, I
Anyway,
think you need to show your face and your big bushy beard so that you can be nominated in that category.
no, no, no. I've had it with you in your hands and beard and mustache category. I got shunned last year. Everybody knows I have the best hands in the business. Everybody knows I have the best band, and I didn't even get one freaking nomination. Not one. Not one. And they're like, you know what? His hands are too pretty. Screw him. Screw him. Everybody's haters. Everybody does not like the beautiful hands of the Journey. Okay. All right. All right. I'm not bitter. Okay. We're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that because today it's about you. It's about Brian LCS. It's about all the hate that you're getting, not the hate that I'm getting. Okay, so we're talking about that. So I was actually really really pleased that Sticky Goose was in here. See, I said his name correctly this time. No slip of the tongue. I did because he did actually put together a good video where he
He
did
did. He did.
he did actually break it down. And it's not a picnic shirt, damn it. It's not freaking worm. Anyway, excuse me. I got another frog in my throat. I got a worm in my throat this time. Anyway, it was done well. And I have a hard time believing that the thoughts of you making this into like a real, it had to cross through your mind. Like, you're like, maybe this thing could get big. Maybe.
Yeah, no. I've certainly thought about that, but I think it's we just continue to grow it every year. I've like I said, I've done outreach to a number of channels within the community. I've done outreach to a number of comic book related companies, whether it's like I said, different comic shops that sell exclusives, and to see if they want to help get involved or get sponsor it or provide some comic books for the winners and things like that. And I've had very little response. And I understand it's just like I'm sending an email into their the contact us email on their website, or I don't have a lot of contacts within that realm, companies that sell comic book material and comic books. So I've done a lot of cold outreach, but I did that with my comic shop. And year one, they said, all right, we're going to donate $100 gift card to every winner. We had 11 winners, so they donated $1,100 worth of prizes for the winners in year one.
No, that's definitely cool. That's not exactly my question that I was asking. I mean, as far as getting sponsors and getting backing on that, you're going to get that. You're going to, because people like to advertise. I'm talking about making it into like a premier award thing, like where like it gets a little bit prestigious.
I think so. I mean, it could grow into that. I mean, some of
it's a little goofy. Let's be honest, it's a little bit goofy. You got the mustaches, you got all that stuff, which is fun. It's great.
Yeah, well, you want to make it fun, right?
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a fun thing, and the tier thing kind of works out, but eventually that's going to have to phase out in order to make it like more comprehensive. Either you're gonna have to break it down into large and small, and that's kind of it, instead of having multiple tiers. I don't know what you're doing this year. You want to talk about a little bit how you're gonna break it down this year?
Yeah, so we're going to add. So last year we had 22 categories. We're adding 4 additional categories. So we're going to have a total of 26 categories this year, and
Plus 4 more that are coming from tonight.
four. We're adding 4 additional.
Plus 4 more from tonight.
No.
All right, keep going.
Because that would be 30 then, right? If we added 4 more on top of the 26 I already have, it would be 30. And so it's just a matter of numbers and managing it. I really set my sight at 25 being the max, and I couldn't get rid of the 26 this year. I think we have some good categories that represent all different aspects of the community. So I think that'll be the max, and we'll pivot each year as the community changes. We may drop categories. We are adding another category into the tier. So last year we had 3 categories in the 100 to 999, 3 in the 1,000 to 5,000, and then 3 in the above 5,000. So we've added an additional category in each of those tiers. So we'll have 4 in category in the first tier, 4 in the second tier, and 4 in the third tier. So because I think that worked, right? It gave different size channels the opportunity to be nominated. So I think that was important.
I tend to not agree, to be quite honest with you. I think it just complicates things, especially when you go from that up to 1,000 to 2,000 to 5,000. And then, personally, I'd probably keep something under 5 and then everything over 10 or whatever the case is.
But yeah, I mean, the argument's always been, well, then if 10% of a channel, 10% of a channel with 5,000 subs nominates them, there's no way a channel with 500 subs could match them. So that's the idea behind the tiers, is really to try to level the playing field a little bit for the sub.
Not true. Not necessarily true. There are certain winners that beat out larger channels. Again, it's a popularity contest. It really is.
It is because you could have 500 subs and you may have a bigger engagement. I've been on channels with 4,000 or 5,000 subs, and I've seen maybe 100 people in say a live stream, and I've seen other channels that are way below that, who may have 75 people, in the live chat. So it just really depends on, the sub number is important, but it's the engagement that you have with the people that are subscribed to your channel.
That makes the biggest difference. I mean, you got plenty of people that are left over from that COVID push, when you got a lot of channels that blew up out of nowhere, that were getting a lot of traction because the fact that nobody was doing anything other than watching freaking TV and YouTube.
Right.
And now they're not getting anything that's going on there. You got channels that have like 5,000, 10,000 subs, and they're literally getting 100 views on every video. So it doesn't correlate always the same way. So right. I'm a little bit not convinced as far as the 3-tier system.
Okay.
And at the same time, you know what? A guy with 500 subs should compete with somebody that's at 1,500 subs. And that guy with the 500 subs could probably, if they have better content, will probably beat that 1,500 sub per person. It just don't forget, a lot of those 1,500 subs that person got don't even watch the content anymore.
Oh yeah. They're not engaged. Yeah.
So you have to take all that into consideration, and it just adds a lot more categories unnecessarily. That's my personal opinion. I don't know how the chat feels about that, but that's my 2 cents on that. The other thing I'd like to ask you, and this was a little controversial for me last year with you. I don't think anybody else actually brought this up to you, but it was a point of contention for me because you were nominated for one of the categories, and you were one of the nominees for the categories. Now, I don't have a problem with you being nominated for one of the thing and that kind of thing. And it's nice that your channel is being recognized. But at the same time, you're the host. You're the one that's running the thing. do you feel that it's proper for you to actually be actual nominee on your own award show? I thought it was just asking for more trouble than what it's worth. You're pulling in more heat
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
unnecessary
No,
on that.
that's a good point. I did consider that. So once I looked at the final nominations, when all the nominations were in and closed, and I reviewed it with the committee. My channel had, so it's the top 5 nomination getters who make the finalist list, and so in my category, I think it was I was nominated within the community builder. Um, I had such a big number of nominations compared to the other finalists. And it was really, it wasn't like I beat out somebody by, a nomination or two. There was a pretty big gap between the 5 finalists and the rest of the field that was nominated. And so I I left my name in there. I didn't think I would win, and I didn't, which was good because it avoided even more controversy. But it is a point taken, and I don't think I would exclude myself. I will exclude myself from this year just to avoid that, because that's one of the things I learned year one, getting into it a little bit back and forth with the defects. At some point I took a step back and said, I can't really pick fights with everybody. If I really want the awards to be successful, I need to be above that. I need to just take the criticism, take the feedback, and try to improve the awards. And I can't start getting into arguments with everybody that doesn't agree or doesn't care for what I'm doing. To be that true um, awards for the community, I need to kind of take a step back and not get into it with everybody that disagrees or doesn't see eye to eye with the awards.
And that's the point I was trying to make. You're just
Yeah,
adding
no,
more
and
heat.
your point, and I think I'll take that step further this year. And even if I get nominated, I will not be, I would not make the finalist list.
Not that I'm taking anything away from you. You probably have the best Saturday morning show on the web right now, but you get what I'm saying. Like you have a lot of stuff that's worth nominating, but at the same time, it just gives bad vibes. It gives a whole bunch of headaches that I don't think you want to deal with, and at the same time, it takes away from the legitimacy of the awards.
Yes.
Because
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's what that I want it to be legitimate, right? I don't want to have anybody question the metrics or the numbers. I mean, I'm simply just counting votes based on what comes in from the community. Now the nominations and then the finalists. So but Bronze Age Nerd, I know we said we weren't going to take questions but until the end, but he has and the committee is open to anybody. So this year, I think we have, and I just added somebody recently. If anybody wants to be a part of the committee, just let me know. We can add you, and basically the committee just basically helps shape the awards. If I have questions about categories, or tweaks in categories, I'll ask the committee. The committee will help me review the nominations, the votes that come in, and help me validate those. So it's not only my set of eyes looking at them, that I have others look at it and make sure that I'm not overlooking anything. So I share the data with the committee. Now, the issue sometimes, and we ran into it last year, where some of the committee members were actually nominated. And so I didn't share that data with them. I just shared it with, so if they were nominated, say, for Best New Channel, I didn't send that chunk of data to that channel that was nominated. I would only send them the other 21 categories. So I am trying to keep it, and I'm trusting in the committee too, that I shared the results of the winners prior to our live show last year. So I have to have trust in the committee that they're not going to go take that and go share that somewhere and say, here are all the winners, or here are all the nominated channels, or this channel got nominated by one more vote than this channel. And so there's trust with the committee, to keep the data private and don't share it, because we do want to have that element of surprise when somebody becomes a finalist, and then ultimately when somebody wins the award. So
And I will say something else because I was part of that first committee. There were a couple people that were nominated that were part of the committee on there, and your way of kind of canceling them out from tampering with it was on those nominations on those categories. You excluded them from the what was it, the Google spreadsheet that you were using?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Just I didn't share that data with them. Right.
You omitted that information from them, so they had no access to it whatsoever to be able to understand where the runnings are and that kind of thing, and that kind of helps the process a little bit as well, But Bronze, you should actually join the committee. You probably have
Yeah,
insight, good insight.
and that's one of the things I'll do. I'm going to ask the committee if that, because I don't. I'll certainly share who's on the committee, but I want to ask the committee members that they're okay with me sharing who's on the committee. But what I can tell you, it's basically it's a bunch of your peers within the community. Some big channels, some small channels, but it's a mix because I really want to have different voices from different aspects of the community, whether you're a big channel or a small channel or have a different of opinion. I want to have all of those voices, to be involved so we can make it better and make sure that we're representing all little areas of the community, and not because I can simply overlook something when I'm putting things together. I may, overlook a particular category or something that's going on that maybe I'm not aware of. So that's the committee's there to help keep me honest and to, bring in ideas that maybe that I won't think of.
I know that you have a loose criteria as far as how to. I mean, other than the fact that you have to trust the individuals that you put in there, it's kind of a loose thing. I'm a little bit more of an asshole when it comes to like picking out people and stuff like that. Like for me personally, I'd probably have more like X amount of years in YouTube that you have to be as a real community member. You have to be on for a while. You have to have a certain amount of I guess cachet with the community again. There has to be certain things where the reputation of the members, if ever revealed, because I don't think you reveal who the members are on the committee.
No, I never have. But that's something I will bring to the committee this year and see if they're okay with me. I'm sure most of them would be. There may be, one or two people that says, no, I don't want, my name out there, but I'll certainly ask so that people are aware of who, if the committee's okay with it, that we can discuss and mention who's part of the committee.
John, I'm going to get to your question shortly in the question and Q&A session. I just want to be able to kind of put a little bow on what we're talking about before we get into the questionnaire. So hold on to that question. I know we've been jumping on certain things, but they've been relevant to what we're discussing right now. And as far as it could also tamper with your process by revealing the panelists, the actual committee people, because now I know this guy's on there. I could get in his ear and say, "Listen, try to rig it," and that kind of thing. Like,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
definitively,
I am relying on the honesty and the goodness of the people within the community, and I think I have a feel for everybody who's on the committee. I've had direct interaction with them, conversations with them, and I have not seen and people have to take my word for it. I haven't seen any shenanigans going on with the committee where somebody's trying to pull for a particular channel or one of their favorite channels or a buddy of theirs. I haven't seen that. I think the committee has been very, fair, but again, all they're doing is really validating results that come in from the community. We look at the nominations and make sure that, the channels that become the finalist channels are the best deserving based on the nominations. And then for the finalist vote, it's pretty easy. You have 5 choices in each of the categories, and whoever gets the most votes wins. And
Well,
so,
speaking of validating, I'm hoping that you take a little bit more of a stringent approach on the validation of some of the nominations this year, because there were some discrepancies last year that really didn't connect.
yeah, I
Really
know.
did.
I know one that you're probably talking about. Comic Tom was nominated within the
That was the most
pressing and
blatant
cleaning,
one.
right?
That was the most blatant one out of all of them
Right,
because
right. And so I looked at that. So what part of my job once I have the nominations in is I'm going through and helping to validate, because people they could put my name in every single category, and I don't fit into most of the categories. So there are nominations that get put in that don't fit the category. They don't do cleaning and pressing. But I went to Comic Tom's channel and I did a search on pressing and cleaning. He has a number of videos. Now, Tom doesn't do that work himself. He had a third party come on and do it, but he was presenting that content. That's not his primary content. He's nowhere near some of the other pressing and cleaning channels, but he
and it's
did
only a
have
fraction of his content, like a
yes,
real
but he
small
did have a
fraction.
body of work. If you search his channel and based on the other channels that were nominated, Tom was more deserving than some of the other. There were channels that were nominated in that category that had no pressing and cleaning on their channel whatsoever.
Yeah, it's a problem, and there are other great pressing and cleaning channels. Jerry might be like my favorite guy. I have
Yeah,
bias,
yeah, Jerry's
uh,
very good.
but there are some other very, very good channels that they
Yes,
know their
no, I've
shit.
I've seen them, and I
They
was
know their
surprised that
stuff
some of those channels didn't get nominated.
because the people don't know about them. That's the problem.
Right.
They don't know about them, and part of the process is trying to get people to really understand these channels. And one of the reasons why I've been doing this influencer type of series is bringing people in together from channels at different sub counts and stuff like that, where they might not know about these channels.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
I'm sure that maybe a couple people that are in this chat, although most people probably know you, there are probably a couple people that didn't know of you, and now they discovered you.
Yeah,
And
I
that's it.
mean, when I look at the nomination list, I usually find, 10, 12, 15 channels that are not even on my radar. And I try to, I'm subscribed to the last time I checked, it was well over 1,000 channels, and 99% of them are comic book related channels or collecting channels. So I'm subbed to 1,000, 1,100 channels, and I'm still discovering new comic book channels almost every day. And
He-
they're not always new channels. They're channels that have been around for a while.
Here's another oddity that's a discrepancy, and K-pop actually mentioned that a little bit. When you, as far as how to determine what a new channel is, it gets a little bit dicey because you might have a channel that exists because the person is just basically, drifting around and commenting on other people's stuff, and you have the channel just because in order to be able to comment on YouTube, you have to have a channel.
Right.
They
Right.
and they might have not put anything up until this year on their channel. If they have a channel from 2011 and then all of a sudden their first videos came out this year, does that qualify them as a new channel or does that disqualify
Yeah.
them?
Yes. No, it would, because I use it based on when they produced their first video. So if you look at my channel, I've had my YouTube name and channel, and I've changed it over the years, but I've had it since I think 2009. But I didn't really start producing comic book related content until April of 2021, and so that's when I consider my comic book channel, life have began in April of 2021. Although I've had a YouTube username for 15 years.
So you do take that into consideration, and for the people that just started putting up videos this past year, they're not going to be disillusioned by not having a chance to be able to compete in that, right?
Right. Right. And that's why if you look at the schedule for the Comic Book Community Awards, we have the nomination period and then we have a gap of about 2 weeks before the finalist voting starts. That gives myself and the committee time to go validate the nominations that have come in. I've got to go through all the data. I've got to compile the data, in a spreadsheet and make sure that, and then start to validate those nominated channels to make sure they fit each of those categories. And that takes time. I gotta go to their channel. I gotta search on a channel. I gotta watch some videos. And so that's why we have that in between period between the nominations and the finalists. And then the same thing for the finalist. Well, the finalist is a little bit easier because now we're just declaring the winner. But I still want to validate that and make sure that everything's accurate. We had a winner last year in one of the categories who basically, after the nomination period, basically stopped producing content on YouTube. So they had a body of work, but right until when they became a finalist, they basically had stopped producing, and they ended up winning the category, but now have not produced content in over like a year.
Wait, which one was this? I forgot.
This was Married with Comics. So they were the winner in, I think, Best New Channel. Let me just double check, make sure.
Yeah, that was one of the people that I said, who the hell is this?
Yeah. So, and they had a body of work, and they basically right after, sometime last year, probably August, September, they basically stopped producing content and have not posted. I just checked this week, and they still have not. They're not been back. They still have all their old content, but they have not produced any new content.
And were they one of the channels that actually were actively promoting themselves to get nominated? Is that why?
No, not that I'm aware of. I didn't find any evidence of that.
Who the hell knew about this channel? Did you know about them? I didn't know about them.
I knew about them based on just the nominations. That's when I discovered them. They were not on my radar prior to that.
Hey, chat. Anybody that knows who the hell Married with Comics is, please say yes or no. Because honestly, I didn't know who they were, and I don't think I know anybody else that knew. I thought it was one of these like weird rando channels that just jumped out of nowhere, got a campaign push behind them, and kind of push, which is okay. Like I said, it's a popularity thing, but they were one of those channels that perplexed me. I'm like, I don't even know who the hell they are. And I went to look at some of the stuff. I'm like, it's not even that great. So I'm like, what the hell? Sorry, guys. Sorry, Married with Comics. You could get better. That being
I
said,
hope they just come back.
Well, maybe my talk about them will actually get them motivated to come back and do some great content. Maybe, I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, it's a weird dynamic as far as being able to choose these type of videos and these kind of there's a lot of parameters that need a little tweaking when you're doing it. And I'm sure every year you're getting better and better as far as just trying to put the. I didn't tell you to post their link. All right, go ahead, post the link. But we're promoting them now. The Married with Comics. They tell them who the hell they are, but
they have over 1,000 subs now.
Yeah, like how's that happen? Like nobody even knows them. It makes no sense. So that being said, what's you think they made like 100 different Google accounts and just voted for themselves multiple times? Is that a possibility to how to rig the?
I mean, yeah. I mean, based on the nominations are based on email address, name, and there were duplicates. So there were duplicates that have been eliminated. So if somebody submitted their same ballot under the same email address, those duplicates, I would accept the first one and remove the duplicates. So I have seen that. I mean, if you want to go out of your way and create 100 different email addresses and submit your name over and over again, I mean,
God bless you.
You could do that, but I haven't seen that in the first 2 years of voting. I haven't seen any. I have seen where somebody would vote just for one channel across every single category.
All right. It's usually for themselves, I guess.
Right. And like I said, 9 out of 10 categories, they don't fit because they don't do pressing and cleaning, or they don't, they're not over 5,000 subs, or so they would just, blanket put their name in across every category, but they really didn't fit those categories. So
I will say this much: for the past couple of years, I've been publicly on live streams showing my nominations and my votes on who I'm doing it. I know that a lot of people they don't want to show everybody, but if there's more channels out there that do that and it becomes more transparent of how the system works, a couple of like souls that are willing to take the slings and arrows, you should do that because it helps people understand the process a
Oh
little
yeah,
bit better.
yeah. No, a number of channels did that. Comic Bookworm, Simple Simon, Marcus
You-
did it.
But we know
I
who the
think.
first was, right?
I'm sorry.
We know who the first was, right?
Yeah, I think it was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I would say so. You know,
Well, I think the Bookworm used duck races to help determine who he was voting for in some cases.
yeah, because he's a coward. I hate ducks. I hate ducks. I don't know what the case is, but it's to use Sticky Goose's words, people patting themselves on the back. So that's how you do it with the voting. Sometimes like you want to pat each other on the back. Sometimes you pat yourself on the back by voting for yourself. Any way you want to do it, you do it. That's the beauty of these awards. There's a beauty of awards. I did see a lot. I saw so many different categories that were kind of proposed in here in the chat. I know that you've been seeing a lot of stuff too.
Oh yeah,
I really wish that you just chopped off some of these tiers, made it really, really simple, big, and small. That's it, and then added other categories that were a little more diverse. Because you had that same controversy last year with the entertaining award.
yes, because you had some big channels and little channels. Yep, yep.
Because to me, honestly, Reggie is more of a news channel. I would call it more comic news rather than it doesn't entertain me. I mean, I
Right,
guess
right.
I
No,
guess everybody's got
and-
different levels of entertainment, but I wouldn't call that entertaining channel. I would call it informative channel. It's more of
right,
a news channel.
right. No,
You know,
that makes sense. And what everybody finds entertaining, and we're actually that's one of the categories that we're going to make a little bit of a tweak on this year. So, um, we're gonna try to adjust that and dial that in a little bit on that particular category.
yeah. Are you chopping anything off from last year? Like anybody getting completely
No,
chopped off the block?
no, all of the categories from last year will be coming back. But there is the most entertaining or is being tweaked a little bit. And we're adding, like I said, we're adding a few additional categories that I think kind of round out the community. Um, best artist, best community artist is one. We haven't talked about that, but we're going to reveal everything on April 13th. But that's one of the new categories, right? Because there's so many community members who are artists who do exceptional work. Tricky Trapster. I'm drawing, Geek Out with Roscoe.
Oh,
You
we got
draw.
plenty of
I mean, there's
we
a
got
ton
plenty
of
of
people
artists.
that do artist that are
Don't
artists
put me in
within the
their
community. So,
category. I doodle. A lot of the other people, they really draw. So they do deserve to get the limelight. Maybe a best voice, maybe best this. I don't know, but I would just just chop some tiers and
oh, believe me,
diversify.
I would like to make it smaller. That makes my life a lot easier. But like I said, I think it's going to evolve every year. Year one we had 11 awards. Year two we had 22. This year we're going to have 26. I cannot see more than 26 ever. I really wanted to keep it to 25, but I couldn't I couldn't get it down to 25. So, but I think there'll be categories that maybe we get rid of. We say goodbye to after a couple years that maybe don't fit the community, or maybe we just have somebody who continues to dominate a particular category. Um, the two categories that I can think of are like omnibus and statue review. They're not really my particular category. Like I don't really watch channels that review omnibuses or channels that review statues because I don't collect those things. But there are a number of community members that enjoy those things and produce content around those. So but those are in my mind are two that potentially could maybe get changed or not last for the long run.
Or lump them in and turn it into the best alternative comic award.
Yeah,
Something
that's a good
along
one.
those lines.
Make it more general. I mean, that's the one of the things I like about the best hair, hands, mustache, best hair categories, because it's strictly a fun category, and there's really no criteria there other than you have to have hair, or you have to have a mustache, or you have to have hands or a beard. Like,
There's so many
so.
people without the hands.
I mean, you know, there's not you don't have to have a certain sub count or anything like that. So unless you're have no hair and no hands, you can't be nominated. And I'm not sure how many people are in the community are in that boat.
You're going to be called an anti-handite, but we'll see what happens.
I've
But
been
that being
called
said,
worse, so.
yeah. That being said, we said a lot so far, right? Well, we said a lot.
Oh yeah.
I think I drilled you pretty good. You guys tell me if I took it easy on Brian or not. For all you freaking people like the bitch that I'm too easy on my guests. Well, the Irish, you know what? I'll let Irish win it. I'll let him. I'll exclude myself from the nominations if that's the case. If he comes back and shows off his hands, he's more than welcome to take that nomination. But
Yeah,
that being said,
where's Irish Ben? He's been MIA.
he's had some personal stuff that he's dealing with, and life.
Yes, yeah. I know. He said there was some things going on. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure he'll, yeah. I don't believe in participation awards. I don't believe in participation awards. I don't believe in patting on the back awards. I don't believe in any of that stuff. But that being said, I'm going to open it up to the public for questions. So, people, if you got good questions, now's your time to ask them.
Any questions?
You don't answer no questions, and I won't tell you no lies.
Hey Lord, don't ask me questions. Hey Lord, don't ask me questions, please.
What do you want? What do you want from us? To ask you this much is just a matter of trust, not an affront. What do you want?
All right, people. You've been active in the chat so far. You all have been having questions, a lot of questions. So let's hear what you want to hear. We already addressed this, Vaughn. If your hair challenged, that's your problem. That's your problem. Yeah. Either get Rogaine,
Buy a wig.
get a Murphin or whatever they call them. Get whatever. Put it on your head, and now you'll have hair. Cut your armpit hair and put it on your head. I don't care what you're gonna do. Now you have hair. Well, some people are into ugly hands. Okay, so that could work as well too. So, only have one real hand and no hair. Well, all you need is one hand. Do you have any mustache? Do you have a beard? That kind of thing. While we're waiting for people to start asking questions, I want to ask you. You've been busy this week. You've been freaking busy. You've been doing the circuit right now, promoting.
Oh yeah.
You were on Vaughn. You were on S. Vaughn
On Monday. Yeah.
He drilled you, right?
Yeah. No, I thought that was good. That was fair. That was a good.
You're
good
on
interview.
with me today. Where's your next stop?
We're going to be over on Marcus Circumstance, and I will be on Gary B's channel April 6th, Thursday, April 6th, to talk all things Comic Book Community Awards.
Very good. You better not give them any exclusive that you didn't give me.
No.
If there's anything to be revealed, you're going to reveal them now because
Well, Marcus is going to be on, so I doubt I'll get a word in edgewise. I mean, Marcus will just be talking.
Well, how much different is that from being here? So we got.
I've been able to talk a little bit.
We got a question by Comic Ozzy. Has the pushback this year made you change anything you wouldn't do in the awards?
No, nothing. So basically, after last year's awards in December, I basically had notes from last year, basically some feedback throughout the year, and basically decided on the categories, or had a pretty good rough idea of the categories for this year. I shared them with the committee early on in the year. So basically, before any of this stuff has gone on, on Instagram or here on YouTube, we pretty much had things set for this year. So I don't anticipate any changes unless something major blows up or there's major concerns with what we're doing. But yeah, we're pretty locked in for this year.
All right. And then we got from Biggie Shack. What kind of laundry detergent do you use to keep those colors so bright?
We use Gain or Tide. Those are the two that we use.
All right.
Got to keep the red and blue of Spidey looking sharp.
Is that with or without Oxy in the?
Oh, we use Oxy too. Yeah, we use the Oxy.
All right. All right. So Loss S, what are the real comic community members? Do we want to really get into this right now? Like, who do you consider to be a real community member?
I mean, there are so many different areas of the community, right? There are a number of Facebook groups that people only use Facebook groups. I mean, I'm probably in 4 or 5 different Facebook comic book groups, and very rarely do I see any of those members migrate over to Instagram and or YouTube. Then you have your Instagram only people. Then you have, the kind of the hybrid. I like to use YouTube, YouTube and Instagram, because Instagram is the messaging piece that we don't have on YouTube. And there's a lot of people that do stuff on TikTok. I mean, I don't, how can you not say that they're not all community members?
Just so we're clear about this, so everybody understands, these awards are dedicated to the YouTube channels.
Right, YouTube on them.
You're not spanning the internet universe.
Right.
For Twitch channels, you're not looking for Instagram channels, you're not looking for Twitter, you're not looking for Facebook, you're not looking for MySpace, although you should look into MySpace. You're not looking into OnlyFans, you're not doing any of that stuff right now. You're basically just dedicating it to the YouTube, which makes sense because you'd be losing your mind trying to keep up with everything that's going on. You can't even keep up with the YouTube content. How are you going to keep up with the?
Yeah, and people need to remember, this is a hobby for me, right? This is, I work a day job, I've got a family. This is something I do in my free time, and so I have to keep it somewhat under control so it doesn't spiral out of control. And I'm like I said, I'm putting time and money and so I have to have some parameters, or else we could, I could have 100 categories that span every social media platform in the world, and I'd be driving myself crazy. So,
it makes sense that way. It's YouTube. If you want to do something on Instagram, go ahead and do something on Instagram. If you want to do it on Twitch, do it on Twitch. If you want to be that one psychopath that wants to do a collective of the internet or the dark web, go ahead, do it. Right? Yeah. It's just how it is. But I'm going to ask you one question that was sent to me in a DM that I forgot to ask you a little earlier.
Okay.
And this in regards to the actual name of the awards, which is a little confusing for a lot of people. Now, it CBAC. Wait,
CBCA
Awards.
Well, it's really the acronym, right? The acronym is Comic Book CB Community Awards, CBCA.
But the awards is part of the A at the end.
Right. So the website is CBC Awards.org. It's not CBCA Awards, right? So
which gets a little confusing because I've done Google searches in the past, and you know what comes up when you do put CBC Space Awards? The actual CBC channel awards.
Yes, I did notice that. Well, that's why I couldn't get the .com. I had to get the .org because I think the CBC Awards had the .com address.
So that could get a little confusing. And maybe in the future, just avoid controversy and crap from people. You throw a little bit of a little YouTube button in there on the posters and the post that you put in there. That way people understand it's a YouTube
Okay. Yeah. No,
award.
that's a
So
good point. That's a good point.
it might just make add less complications to your life. So on the next question, we got S Vaughn 82. How can somebody become a sponsor, Brian?
Just reach out to me. I'll give you the details. You'll pick a category, and basically, for a small fee, there you become a sponsor of that category. And like I said, any money that comes in gets put back into the awards in form of trophy and prizes and things for the winners. But I am looking for if people have contacts with different companies, Whatnot or any of the publishing companies or whoever, I am trying to reach out to those companies to get sponsors to help provide, maybe they will help sponsor it from a, donating prizes or things like that. So I am trying to do that outreach myself, but often it's like a cold call. I'm calling somebody, they don't know who I am. I have to explain who we are and what we do, what the awards are. So if anybody has contacts within the industry, let me know. Or if they want to present it to them and give my contact, I don't want to, ruffle any feathers with any relationships that people have out there. But certainly looking to make connections with others within the real comic book community to help grow the awards any way that I can.
Thank you, Nora Ryan. Put a Q in front of your questions, people, because I'm going to miss your questions. That's how it works. Put a Q in front of the question so I know it's a question. All right. Thank you, Nora. Question police, I call it. That would make sense. And actually, based on that question, I wanted to ask you something else. What if somebody wanted to sponsor a actual award? Let's say one of the awards I would like you to have on there don't exist. And I would say, listen, Brian, I get it. You want to keep it limited or whatever the case is. I want my own award. I want an award that's dedicated to Journey. I want the Comic Journey Award to be given out with a specific theme to it. Is that a possibility for somebody to be able
Sure,
to do?
we could do that.
So if I wanted the Weirdest Channel Award, I could turn around and sponsor that.
Sure, we could add that.
All right, maybe we'll
I'd be open to that. Like I said, I want to make it. I want to make it fun for the community. I want it to be, what the community wants, not what Brian comes up with, right? That's why we have the committee to help get ideas from different people so we can make it, the best community awards out there.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we got no Q, but okay, we'll take it for now. Any Comic-Con appearances? That actually is a great question. Do you actually predict doing that in the future? Actually, like getting like a little table or something like that to promote the?
I don't think at this point. Maybe in the future. That's a possibility. I know, a few community members kind of kicked around the idea of saying, well, maybe in a couple of years we grow it so big that we do the awards live at one of the conventions, a C2E2 or, one of the bigger conventions. We actually do the awards live at one of the conventions. So I'm certainly open to those possibilities.
One step at a time. That's a
Right.
freaking
But
nightmare.
my goal right now is still just to continue to grow the awards. I want to make it year 3 bigger and better than year 2. So that's what my focus is, right now.
We answered your question already, S. Vaughn. We answered already. Okay. We answered that. Well, listen, Taylor Winder has an axe to grind with these awards, and he also needs to get to 999 subs. So can we all just push Taylor Winder to get to 999? Road to 999, please.
Yeah,
So
get him to 999, then nominate him again for this year for best review, but then don't make him the winner.
You gotta make sure we do that, okay?
Because we
Please.
want to keep him cranky. I mean, that's the key, is to keep Taylor cranky.
We're gonna lose the edge. We don't want to lose the edge, okay?
No,
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. All right. We got a question from Collecting with Durs. Do you have a pet category? I got a sick kitty cat Is that what it says? Kitty cat, a pussy? What does that say over there?
Yeah, it looks like a cat.
Who celebrates sub milestones?
You
know what?
No, we
what?
have not.
Stupid question, that is. What a stupid question. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
Yes, what he said.
Look what you just did. You made Trump come back on the show again, man. By the way, Trump is a very big supporter of the show. He loves the show. He comes on every so often to tell people about how their questions are stupid, but we'll tolerate that. He is the former president, after all.
Yeah, I mean, the goal is to make the awards huge.
Do you remember the first part? By the way, everybody that doesn't know, I'm going to be taking a road trip with Brian down to Heroes Con.
This is true.
And your windows better be working, because I do not want bratwurst farts all the way through. There is a possibility of Couple Comics actually coming with us, right?
Yes, yeah, we have not heard the final word from Couple Comics.
All right, so this might turn into a really, really interesting or bizarre road trip. We'll see where that goes. But stay tuned on that one. Any other question? Let me see. We got John Stout. Can a person who has never put out content on YouTube but follows a lot of different channels become a judge?
If you mean become a committee member, sure. I would we would like to have that point of view on the committee. I mean, I think I'd have to double check, but I think everybody on the committee today has a channel in some form. There might be one person on the committee who doesn't regularly produce their own content, but they are certainly a guest on other channels. But yeah, no, that would be, that point of view on the committee would be welcomed.
That actually might be ideal because there's no bias.
Right.
Zero bias. That's a great question.
Conflict of interest because they're not producing content themselves.
John, that was a great question. No Trump coming out for you. Question by the Mortal Biddy Shack. By the way, Biggie, enjoy. Question. Is it true that it's all really a satanic cabal and you sacrifice animals behind the scenes? Is it true?
That's not true. I love animals.
But the rest of it is true.
Yes, there's no we're not sacrificing any animals. It might be some other things going on, but no animals are hurt during any of the comic book community awards.
Any virgins or anything like that? That's the sacrifice or anything like that?
No, not that. No, not that they told me. No.
All right. Just making sure, we're not missing anybody. Now I'm scrolling, like Reggie says. I'm scrolling down. How you doing, Izzy? I'm scrolling down, scrolling down. I'm looking if there's any more questions. If you didn't put a Q in front of the question, boys and girls, you're gonna get missed because I'm scrolling really fast and I can't read. So I need to see a Q. All right. So we got one by Izzyverse. Should we have a kid cameo appearances? Oh, geez.
I'm not sure I understand that question. You mean having a
kids, people with kids,
a category for kids, people who have their kids come on with them?
I guess that's kind of what he's saying. I've had a few kid cameos that came on my channel that were not expected, but I would not want to get nominated for any of those. But
yeah, I mean, certainly a possibility. I just don't know how big of a thing that is in the community. So,
well, I'm sorry, Durs. I'm sorry that Trump called your question stupid. I'm sorry, but he has a very, very specific type of mentality towards how he takes questions. I can't control him, man. I'm sorry. I apologize, but I do thank you for asking the question. See what you did, Trump? You got Durs, the happiest member on earth.
Yeah, like Durs is upset. I mean, Trump poked him.
Damn you, Trump! Well, look what you did. You got everybody answers. So I'm scrolling through, doing the whole scrolling through over here. What an active chat! I can't believe how active this chat is. You guys have been amazing tonight. You guys have been super amazing. What do you think, Brian? Have they been an amazing chat
Yeah.
or what?
Did we thank them? We need to thank them.
Oh, we absolutely thank them, and we're going to keep thanking them. And that's kind of Glenn. Can we sponsor CJ to show his face? No.
I mean, I've seen it in person, so I there's no mystery here for me.
Well, listen, guys, you get enough out of me as far as my contributions to the show. So far, every year I've been sending in a clip, do my little tap dance for the show to help promote. That should be enough for you people. You don't need anything else from me. I think I've done enough of that. Oh, we got another question. Are you a collector, reader, speculator, investor, or a real comic book collector?
I would go all of the above.
All of the above. Very good.
I do it all. I do it all.
All right, let's see if we got any other questions I'm missing. I see one by Evil Comics. Mike. Question. Has there been any past winners that surprises you?
No, I don't think so. I think I was surprised at the number, and people have called it out. The number of times Reggie has won. I think Reggie has a great channel, but and there were some really close races with some of the awards that Reggie won, where he won that were very close. But I think I'm just the overall number of awards that he's won. But what I also find funny is that it seems like Comic Tom, Gem Mint, and the bigger channels just seem to bring out the worst in some people, where they really. I don't understand the hate for those bigger channels. Like, if I don't like something, I just don't watch it or pay attention to it. I don't go out of my way to bash it. So,
isn't that amazing how they just freaking get all really nutty on some of these?
Yeah. And I would suggest people come and watch CJ, your interviews with Comic Tom and Gem Mint. If they really want to get a sense for who those guys are, it's just watch those interviews that you did with them, because I thought it really shed some light on them as people, their personality, and I still don't understand why people just have some people have such hatred towards them. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, it kind of humanizes them. I mean, you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. You're not going to make everybody
I get that.
like you.
But why go out of your way to bash them? Just
that's what I like. Where is this extra hate come out of? I mean, it might be a jealousy thing.
Yeah, could be.
It might be haves and have not thing. It could be a lot of different things. But the one thing I will tell everybody is this: if you're a brand new channel and you're one of these haters that hate the fact that you're not growing, and there's bigger channels such as these that we just talked about, just remember this: they all start small, just like you started small. Everybody, and I've had in-depth conversation about this with other channels as they are growing. Every time you reach a certain milestone, a certain plateau, you lose a fan base, and you get a bunch of haters that come out of nowhere, where they never existed before. You were fine as long as you were a 50 sub channel or a 100 sub channel,
right?
And you were like the little engine that could, and that kind of thing. But all of a sudden, you got to a 500 plateau, you got to 1,000 plateau, or the 2,000 plateau, 5,000, etc., and now, oh, fuck them, they're too big.
Right.
I don't want to support them. I never understand. That is a very, very specific type of mentality that I've seen in this community that I do not understand for the life of me. I do not understand this for the life of me. Instead of being happy that the channels next to you are growing, and you have the possibility to grow the same way they have by being supportive of each other.
Yeah.
You're just pissing on them. Like, You're pissing all over the place. You're pissing in the pudding. You're doing all kinds of shenanigans. It doesn't make it. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm just going to tell everybody this. Agree or disagree, Brian? You put your 2 cents. Everybody starts from zero. Now, where you get after that point, it's really up to you.
Oh yeah, totally agree with that. The biggest thing I've found is just how I was able to get to 1,000 subs is just be consistent. I'm producing, consistently content every week. And I've built in where, the Comic Book Community Awards provides a reason for people to have me on their show like here tonight. And it allows me to produce content throughout the year on my channel. And so that's one of the other reasons why I wanted to start the awards was I knew it was a built-in way of me staying connected to the community and to produce content.
I mean, it's just a weird anomaly that I've been seeing more and more, and I don't think I'm the only one that actually has understood that. Like, it's evident. Every single person that I've talked to that got into a certain plateau, and they reached the same kind of reaction. It's just a bizarre thing. Did you reach that reaction when you got to 1,000 from some people?
I've seen some people not.
You might be a little different because everybody's kissing your ass to be on your awards. So.
No, but I mean, I've seen people that used to maybe watch my channel or comment on my videos not since I've hit 1,000, and I don't know if that's just their habits changed. They're not watching as much content, or they're particularly maybe not watching mine. I don't know, but I have certainly seen some people that used to be around quite often not be around as often anymore. But and I'm the same way when I watch other channels. There are channels that I may watch for a period of time, and maybe I just I fall off their channel where I'm not watching their content as much. So
because they're not keeping their content fresh.
Yeah, could be. It may,
because if and there are people fresh, people keep watching it.
Well, and there are people produce content that I'm just not interested in. There's it may be just a video that I don't have interest for. I may like the channel, but I'm not going to sit through 10-minute video that I don't have no interest in watching just because I like you. It's my free time. I have other things I can do with that free time. So.
Well, it's a weird phenomenon, and we're going to see this further exaggerate itself. I guarantee you that by the end of the year, going into next year, when you're setting up the awards, there's going to be a lot of drop-offs of a lot of channels, which I'm predicting is going to happen because you have a lot of the people that are still in the hangover of COVID. That are still living off of their channels right now that are probably going to drop off, and you're going to have a bunch of new channels. So every year it's a different type of vibe, and let's see how this community continues to grow. The real comic book community people, the real comic book community people. So let me just share with everybody really quick where our poll results are. By the way, after I saw the Chop putting that look at me, best hashtag might be one of the might be one of. What might just be one of those good things to add in the mix.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. I think grow together though might give you a run for your money.
Believe me, everybody's about to look at me. So let's see where we're at right now. We got the categories. I don't know what you can see, what you can't see. Let's see how big I can make this thing. I don't know. Can you see, guys?
Yeah. So best looks like best late night show was the top.
With best hangout, a close second.
Yeah.
So look, the people are talking. The people are talking. What do you think? Is this going to influence you?
Definitely not for this year, but I would certainly make note of that as we look to next year. Like I said, that's what I did last year. Was there were a lot of feedback during the nominations and finalists. People were making suggestions. I took down some notes. Take every I appreciate the feedback. It's what helps drive to make the awards better. And so if you have suggestions, ideas, please, let me know. And I like I said, I'll keep notes throughout the year. And then when I start to plan next year's awards, I take in, review all of those notes and see what we come up with.
Well, I'll tell you something. One of the hashtags that have been taking over the entire community has been this one.
Really? I have not seen it.
Absolutely. It's everywhere. It's contagious. Everybody's been throwing that in there. I know that they throw at me all the time on my channel. I don't know if it's like unique. But
And I always miss the, midnight. You usually start around midnight, 11:30 or midnight or so. That's like prime bedtime for me. I crash right around that time.
Well, Izzy questioned, what is the crossover channel supposed to be? Well, this was my proposal as far as a channel that not only goes into comics, but it goes into other different realms like cards, other collectibles, I don't know, speed dating, whatever it is. It just crosses over into another category,
Well, I think one of the channels that probably best fits that is Slim, Sean. Slim's
NFT.
Absolutely. He does, a little bit of everything. He does a family day. He does comic books. He does cards. He does die cast. He does a little bit of everything.
He definitely has taken a different path, and it's working for him. He's done really, really well with it. I love it. Biggie's on a roll with all his hashtags right now. But let's see. I'm going to make sure that there's nothing that we have not asked yet because you've been a champ.
You missed Biggie's hashtag circle jerks.
Oh, you want another one? Are you? He's hit a lot of them. How about how's this one sound? Is this a good one? Should we put this one in there too? Well, what else? Biggie's been on a roll as far as his hashtags are concerned. He also put "I love you," so that was a nice hashtag as well.
Really, I missed that one.
Stop bullies. Okay, that's a good hashtag. But look at me. I think is the one that really, really identifies the community. That's what we're all doing on our channels. We're doing look at me.
It's true. Look at me.
It's all about me. Yes, cancer does suck, but you're a real downer right now. We weren't talking about that. Now you got me depressed. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah, but it does. I agree. It does. It's not something we all like. Prize lizards.
Yeah, prize lizards. And I think that originated from the Grow Together guy, Gary B. I think Gary B. was the man who coined that prize lizards tag.
See, I have a tendency of not using that word on my channel. I don't like the prize lizards. I'm more of a giveaway troll kind of guy. But we all use our different things. Different hashtags. But giveaway troll, prize lizards, all very, very good ones. But then you have to know who to connect it with. Gary B might be the prize lizard guy. I don't know. He is the Grow Together guy. Well, he's
definitely the Grow Together guy. Yeah. Comics by the Bay has one. He's got a hashtag.
Well, Dookie Finger is his moniker. We coined him with that one night. And it stuck well. He's definitely our Dookie Finger.
I'm not sure I want to hear the backstory behind that one, but
don't. Let's not get into that tonight.
I'll leave it to my imagination.
And it's also not Insomniac hours. We tend to keep it PG on the hours before 12. But oh my God, everybody's going nuts with these hashtags right now. What is going on? We are Legion. There you go. There's another. That's a little bit of a culty one. That one's a little culty. You got all these like Legionnaires. They're like following him. I don't know. It's kind of a little culty. Looks like I got one last
question. Tricky's got it. Yeah.
Would you ever consider taking a vote of the most relevant categories, then just having less categories in the awards?
Yes, I would love that. I mean, I want it to be as streamlined as possible, right? And and like I said, make sure that we're representing what the community wants. So, that's why I have the committee so that it's not just what's falling out of my brain, that we can help shape it based on feedback from the community and from the committee. But that's certainly an idea. Maybe after this year's awards, put up a poll for the categories, which is the most popular, which ones maybe people don't care for. But yeah, I mean,
Maybe
I
that's
think
how you settle the chopping block. Yeah.
Yeah.
After all, it is a popularity contest. You
Yeah.
might as well.
Yeah, I like it.
Might as well see which categories are the most popular ones and the most hated ones. You got to keep the most hated one out of all of them. Just to give it to everyone.
Yeah, just to.
Here's a question: who is your favorite influencer?
My favorite influencer. I really like Gem Mint's story. I don't know how many people know, but Gem Mint. One of the first videos I saw from Gem Mint was he was talking about before. So he quit his job, and he was talking about his personal finance, getting his money together, paying off his mortgage, so that he could focus on the comic book, love for comic books and statues and things like that. And so he had a plan. He executed that plan. So I like him for that reason. Maybe not so much, influencing me to buy stuff, but I like his backstory and what he worked towards to achieve what he has. I mean, I thought that was pretty amazing. That
It is pretty damn relatable.
Yeah, I mean, he got his personal, finance and his life together so that he could then pursue what he really loved in the community and dealing with comic books and statues and so I really admire that that he he went for it and made it happen for himself. So
That's a great answer. And I'll tell you something else. I want to hear your opinion on yourself. Do you consider yourself an influencer?
no, I don't think so.
Do you consider influencer to be a bad word?
Well, I don't think it depends on if you're influenced by it, right? If you're influenced by the influencer, then it probably is a bad, a bad word. If they make you do something you normally wouldn't do, then yeah, it's probably a bad thing. But, you have to be in control, right? You have to be in, not fall into that trap.
But how could you not consider yourself an influencer? Because you look, just through your actions alone, you've influenced people to be pissed off at you. You've
This is
influenced.
true. This is true. Maybe I'm. Yeah. I guess I don't think
Maybe
of
one
myself
day,
that way, but
maybe
I
one
guess
day
I
you'll
am
influence.
influencing people to be mean to me.
Well, that definitely works. And maybe one day somebody will be influenced enough by your awards to actually make a Instagram award, or maybe they'll be influenced enough to do a OnlyFans award. I don't know. You don't know the power of your influence. But we are all influencers. It's only a question of what we do, if we use our influence for good or for evil. And that's basically, you just don't want to have unused talent. We're all influencers. Are super chat disabled, or did you just steal my $10? I don't know. Did I get a super chat? I didn't see it. Super
Did
chat.
you? I didn't see it either.
I didn't see it. If he's messing with, listen, Durs, if you'd send me a super chat, I do appreciate that. I didn't see it come up, and I don't know if StreamYard just sucks, which possibly it does. I do appreciate it. I don't know if they're disabled or not. I don't like super chats. I never feel comfortable with that stuff. But if you did, I really appreciate it. Let's just make
There's
sure.
I'll slip $10 into his pants on the drive down to Heroes Con. I got you covered.
Don't worry. We got a lot of plans for that trip. Dr. Van Hoot from the Spiral Dimensions with another question. Will there be videos introing the nominees for this year's awards?
Yes, there will be.
That was a simple question and a simple answer.
There
Thank
will
you,
be.
Dr.
Yes,
Marley.
yes. I've had some community members reach out to assist with some of the production for this year's awards, and so that's going to be really helpful for me.
What do you think of this whole dad bod revolution? Are you digging it? Are you into this? So whole
I'm
dad
more of
bod.
the dad robe, the wearing the robe and doing the dancing. I'm not, I'm not about taking my shirt off. I don't want to, embarrass myself or any of my family members.
Yeah, well, listen. The more people humiliate themselves with their dad bod dancing, the better I look with my dad bod. So keep
That's
doing
true.
it, people.
This is true.
So keep doing it. Make dad bods a norm, so I can like look normal.
There's a super chat. I do see a super chat now from Papa Wheelie.
Holy shit! I did see one. Where did it come from? Why is it not showing up on my? Why is this not showing up in my damn?
I see it. I see it both on StreamYard and on YouTube.
Oh, you know why I didn't see it? Because I'm so behind on the chat.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
There you go. Thank you, Papa.
Yeah. Now Durs just put a $2 super chat in too.
I do appreciate that, guys. Completely unnecessary, but I do appreciate it. I promise to use the funds to these super chats to what should I use it for? What should I use it for? To go to the strip club? No, we're gonna use this to improve the content in some way whatsoever. I'm gonna keep throwing whatever is in the monetization of this channel back into the channel to give a better experience for everybody and to be able to pay bigger and bigger influencers to come on. And we're gonna make sure we do that. And I appreciate you, Durs. I definitely appreciate it.
I mean, that $2 covers my appearance fee tonight. I mean, that's more than.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, Durs, with all your little pussies. And I do appreciate you, Papa Wheelie, as well. You guys are great. I don't have anything prepared as far as videos for thank yous. But you know what? I'm going to find something to thank you guys simultaneously with in the spirit of in the spirit of Brian's cringy answers. I got my own cringy answer. So let's get this one up there.
Yeah, we had interviewed her, but she didn't make the cut for my dancers.
She's too low, too slutty?
No, not enough, actually.
Oh, not enough. Okay. But there you go, guys. That's your video, and thank you. The thank you video. I will try to figure out how to be able to do something a little bit more cool, like the rest of the channel, so I could be like cool, like Brian and everybody else when they get super chats. This is still new to me as far as monetization. I only recently monetized this channel, and quite honestly, I didn't expect people to start super chatting me. It's been a weird experience this past week. People all of a sudden have been super chatting all over the place, and I do appreciate it, but I don't know. I'm still uncomfortable with this whole thing. Mead bags. Okay, we could do that. You know, mead bags. We could buy some mead bags with it. Let's see. Do we have anybody else that I'm missing? I know I ran through a whole bunch of comments when I was looking for where the super chats were at. I hope I didn't miss anybody's questions that was in there. I got one by Cosmic Toby. I was watching your stream last night, and I never comment. You had comics with Bueller on, TM, K-pop, Bronze Age. Yeah, we actually had an all-star squad on the last Insomniac. We had Bueller, we had Bronze Age Nerd, we had Rage Theo on. We even had a worm on. We had a whole bunch of you don't know who's going to show up on the Insomniac. Maybe one day maybe one day, Mr. Brian LCS, Mr. I sleep early. Maybe one day he'll have a little bit of trouble falling asleep, and maybe he'll join us one night. I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. There's
Yeah,
a question that I missed by TM.
I
If
might be able
Marvel
to just
didn't exist,
catch you early, like the next morning before. By the time I get up, you sometimes you're still streaming. So
and there are many people that do that. If Marvel didn't exist, what DC characters would you be reading and collecting? I could automatically say Batman is one of them.
yeah, Batman. And I actually just so I am collecting Batman now, and I just started the new Superman run too. And I've only read issue 1, but I liked it. I have issue 2. I haven't read it yet, but the latest Superman.
Well, that was pretty easy. That was an easy answer. I think
Yeah.
we got to everybody. I appreciate everybody. I want to say a big, 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 big thank you to the entire freaking chat because you've been hopping all night. You know, I hope that we answered a lot of the questions. I hope that we put some of these controversies to rest. What do you think, Brian? Is this the definitive? Did we put like a cap on this thing? Is there any questions that we haven't asked that need to be talked about?
I don't think so. It's pretty. But I'm the guy running it. It's pretty clear in my mind how things work. But if people have questions, just reach out. Happy to answer any questions. You can message me on Instagram, or I'm more than happy to come on your show and talk about it with anybody. To help, obviously that helps spread the word, but to help clarify or answer any questions, I'm more than happy to do that.
By the way, I forgot to mention that Papa was also on that stream with that All Star Squad, and he was handing out middle fingers to everybody all over the stream. So I will. I don't want to forget that K-pop. The usuals were there as well, but Papa, you're close to 800. Everybody should go hit Papa up as well and get him to 800 plus because he wants it and he needs it, and you should do it for him. But I think we got the questions answered. I think we
I
got
think so. I hope
a
so.
lot of the stuff out of the way. I don't think I could prod any more other than giving you a rectal examination. I think we got everything just the exact same way we needed to.
It's only Wednesday. I usually wait till Friday night to do that, but yeah. So
yeah, I mean, if I needed to put on the gloves and come back to you on Friday, we could always do that. But I don't think it's necessary. I think we got there. I offended Sticky Goose. We did our job for a normal stream. I offended a bunch of people, and probably I'll probably get some backlash. Who knows? But,
no, but the Sticky Goose video was great. I watched it and I commented, and I clarified a couple things that maybe he didn't have 100% right in his video. But it's videos like that that help spread the word, because I don't think I didn't see a lot of people in his comments that names that I've ever seen on my channel. So hopefully that brings some new people in. So I appreciate those videos because it does what it needs to do. It helps spread the word.
yeah, I agree. I have no problem. I told you this from day one. And I think you'll attest to this. There's no such thing as bad press.
No,
That's
not
it.
at all. Right? Because people are talking about it, whether it's good or bad. So, yeah.
Embrace it and run with it. That's all you got to do. Embrace it and run with it. And you can make it turn into a big super thing, or you can make it turn into a crybaby fest. It's up to you what you do with it. So that being said, Brian, I really do appreciate you coming on. I want to personally thank you for giving us the time. We've been on here for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Which is more than your threshold. Usually you like that 1 hour thing. So I do appreciate that. I do appreciate everybody hopping in the chat, like I said. And I think we said it all. What do you think? Did we say it all?
I think we said it all. Thank you. Thanks for, having me on. Thank you. And thank you to the chat for all the great questions tonight.
I think we will end with the obnoxiously long intro because people love that. And like I said, I will make it longer. Do you think do you think 3 or 4 extra minutes will be appropriate for this intro?
I'd go 4. Definitely 4.
4. All right, we'll go with the 4. So until next time, boys and girls. Until next time.
Bye.
Good night. Good night. Thank you. Good night. Well, you think we fooled everybody? You think we made everybody we convinced everybody that there's no shenanigans going on with these awards? Do you think we dismiss all the conspiracy? Oh shit, we're still live.
Oh, damn.
Damn, off.